While many can pursue their dreams in solitude, other dreams are like great storms blowing hundreds, even thousands of dreams apart in their wake. Dreams breathe life into men and can cage them in suffering. Men live and die by their dreams, but long after they've been abandoned, they still smolder deep in men's hearts.
I've always considered myself a bit of a dreamer. Whether it came to middle school dreams of becoming a rapper, to high school hopes of being a successful YouTuber, I've lived half my life in a fantasy. So when the day came that I seen one of my now favorite scenes of all time, I couldn't help but fall in love with Berserk. Sometimes you just watch a movie or show that says the right thing at the right time. Berserk did this to me. A lonely junior in high school, always feeling like he had unrealistic dreams and goals, now feeling understood and not alone. Honestly, it's amazing what art can do to you. What up, bitches? I'm Nathan. This is what Berserk means to me. Berserk is one of those manga slash shows that just paint a realistic picture of the humans that inhabit the world. We are filled with complex emotions. It shows us noble motives and everything great about mankind, and then proceeds to show us how these great and admirable motives can turn evil real quick.
Look for no better example than Griffith and his dream. Having his own kingdom was something he always wanted, and what he dreamed for since he was a kid. So when he lost control and wasn't able to achieve that dream, he took an opportunity knowing it would cost the lives of anyone he cared about. He lost his humanity. Berserk shows us what can happen when someone with power or so destined to achieve their goals at any cost lose empathy.
Now, Griffith was always a bit power hungry, but he always cared for those who followed him, going as far as nearly dying for Guts. We don't really know the origins of the Godhead, but if we are to assume that they were once mortal humans as well, then the same thing can be said for them. They believe that man has no control over their will, and they find pleasure in horrible things. The inability to feel leads to the inability to care for others. And this is what Griffith does when he rapes Casca. Griffith just wanted to see if he felt anything, if he felt any mortal reminder of his past self, of his human self. He wanted to see if that still existed, and it didn't. Or at least as far as we know. In history, we've seen examples of this happening time and time again, but I think Berserk does a great job at showing us what happens when someone develops a god complex and lack humanity.
What's that? The very last tear you shed.
Now here's a quote that wraps this whole segment up just right. As G.M. Gilbert said about the Nuremberg trials, evil, I think, is the absence of empathy. From the very moment we see Guts, he's cold, scary, and downright evil looking. But after we see the past and what Gus has been through, he was lonely. An orphaned mercenary that was born beside his dead mother and was hated by his adopted father Gambino, who was prone to furious drunken outrages after he lost a leg in the war. The only person that Guts had treated him like dirt, to the point of selling him for a couple of coins to a fellow mercenary. It was because of this past trauma, Gus was never accepted and hated to be touched. It was only until Griffith and the Band of the Hawk took him in and showed him companionship that he loosened up a bit. Guts has always had a problem with loneliness and trust issues, so much so that he sleeps with a sword by himself. That's the only way he can sleep comfortably. After the events of the eclipse, Guts is left once again alone and filled with hate. We see what can happen when Guts is angry and alone. Guts becomes so fixated on killing the apostles and filling himself with more rage, he lost sight of what really mattered to him, Casca, and protecting her. And you can say that Guts only finds friends again through pure coincidence, but I feel like throughout the story, Guts became more reliant on others. If Guts was never shown love, friendship, and respect like he was with the Band of the Hawk, he never would have developed as a person and accept others at even some of his loneliest times. As humans, I feel that we get quite depressed and are unable to express emotions properly when we isolate ourselves from everyone and everything. Mental health and human emotions are quite a complex subject, but I feel Berserk does a great job of showing us the connections that could be made when we become more accepting and open up to new people and ideas. The loneliness is not forever. At the end of the day, Berserk is a fictional story made up by author Kentaro Miura, but I truly believe Berserk is something we all could learn from. There are many values and interesting themes that Berserk displays. I never in my life felt like a fictional world could mean so much to me. Well, besides Avatar: The Last Airbender. This video has basically just been things that Berserk has taught me. But I want to dive deeper and explain to you why Berserk matters so much to me. Like I implied in the beginning, I have pretty far out goals and aspirations that I've questioned countless times. In the moments when Guts is questioning his motives and what he really wants to do in life, I can relate to that. Because in my life, I've pursued a dream, and whenever I'm not able to follow through with my goals, I doubt myself a lot. Guts feels he has no real meaning and that he's following someone else's dream, and he becomes really fixated on finding out what he wants to do. When what he wanted was right in front of him. Berserk has taught me to not forget the people you care about when pursuing your dreams and never lose empathy. Well, that concludes it. This has been Nathan's Bacon. Later, bitches.
Racks on me, tell her